Good morning, students. Today I will teach class 8th chapter 9, that is reproduction in animals. In previous lecture we had studied about the different modes of fertilization and different modes of reproduction. In last lecture I had taught you about the external fertilization. So in external fertilization, animal lay hundred of eggs and release millions of sperms, but it is not possible that all the eggs get fertilized and develop into new individuals, because these eggs and sperms do not get exposed in water. So the production of large number of eggs and sperm is not necessary to ensure fertilization. So here our next topic is development of embryo. As in previous lecture we had studied about the fertilization. When the egg and sperm get fused together, they give rise to embryo. So the development of embryo is the result in the fertilization results in the formation of zygote. So the zygote begins to develop into embryo. So embryo get developed in the uterus. So here the cells then begin to form groups that develop into different tissues and organs of the body. So this developing structure is known as embryo. So here the point to be noted, the cells of the zygote develop into different tissues and organs of the body. So this results into embryo. The embryo gets embedded in the walls of the uterus for further development. So here point to be noted, the embryo continues to develop in the uterus. So developing of the body involve development in the muscles, ears, eyes formation and many other body parts. So here you can see the diagram showing in figure A the zygote formation and development of an embryo from zygote. Diagram B shows the balls of cell, and the diagram C is embedding of embryo in the uterus. So here you can see the diagram A. So the embedding embryo is placing in uterus. So here you can see the ovary. From ovary the zygote cover the distance from the oviduct, or we can see the fallopian tube. You can say here the different structures of zygote which show the development. Firstly, the zygote you see here is the single cell. Then the number of cells increases. Here you can see the number of cells increases and the development and embedding of embryo is take place in the uterus. So here in the uterus embryo is formed, and in the embryo there is the more than one cells you can see here. So we can say that the development of the embryo can take place in the uterus. So here you can see the balls which show the different size of the cells. Here you can see the developing embryo which is in the uterus wall. So the developing embryo includes the development of hands, leg, head, eyes and ear. So when all the body parts can be identified in the embryo, that stage is called fetus. So when the development of the fetus is complete, the mother gives birth to the baby. Here you can see the fetus is present in the uterus. So from which the mother gives the birth to the baby. Eternal fertilization also take place in hens also. So hens give birth to the babies like humans and cows. So after fertilization, the zygotes divides rapidly and travel down the oviduct. As you see, the zygote is divides continuously and goes to the oviduct, then it get a protective layer formation. The hard shell that you see in the hen's egg is one such protective layer. So with the development of the embryo take place 3 weeks to develop into chick in the hen. So hen sitting on the egg to provide sufficient warmth so that the development of the chick take place. So in animals which undergo external fertilization, the development of the embryo take place outside the female body. The embryo continues to grow within their egg covering. After the embryo develop, the egg hatch. So here the different examples for tadpoles that swimming in ponds and streams. So tadpoles give birth to their young ones by the external fertilization. Next is viviparous and oviparous animals. So animals which give birth to their young ones are called viviparous. But the animals which lay eggs are called oviparous. For example, the eggs of few animals are easy to observe because their mother lay them outside their body. So these are the examples of oviparous animals. But we are not able to collect the egg of dog, cow or cat because they do not lay egg outside. So mother give birth to their young ones. So that's why they are viviparous. So what are viviparous animals? Which give birth to their young ones. Dog, cat, human, eggs. Sorry, dog, cat, cow, human. But the oviparous lays eggs. For example, hen, ostrich, etc. So the next stage arises young ones to adult. So when the new individual which are born or hatched from egg are continue to grow till they become adult. So from egg to adult, you can see many different types of the development stages. Here recall the life of the cycle of silkworm. Firstly, it gives egg, then egg become larva or caterpillar, then it become pupa, and then it become adult. So here different stages of frog starting from egg to adult stage, we find that the in the frog there are three distinct stages: egg, tadpole, then adult. So in silkworm these are egg, larva or caterpillar, pupa or adult. But in frog it is egg, tadpole and adult. So here you can see the early stages of frog is very much different from their adult stage. So here are the eggs, then the early tadpole, late tadpole, then the adult frog. You can see here the life cycle of frog. So next, in case of tadpoles, they transform into adult and capable of jumping and swimming. The transformation of larva into an adult through drastic changes is called metamorphosis. So what is metamorphosis? The conversion of larva into adults in tadpoles. It's called metamorphosis. Next is asexual reproduction. So firstly we had said about the sexual reproduction where both the parents are required, but in asexual reproduction only one sex or one parent is sufficient to give birth their young ones. So here are the different examples which can be give birth to your young ones, like hydra and amoeba. Hydra and amoeba are the organism which give their birth to young ones by asexual reproduction. So here you can see the budding in hydra. So in hydra there may be one or more bulges. You can see here the bulges. So these bulges are developing new individuals and they are called buds. So in yeast you can also see the buds. So in hydra too, the new individual develop as outgrowth from the single parents. So this type of reproduction in which only single parent is involved is called asexual reproduction. So in Hydra, there is the new individual develop as a bud. So that's why this is called budding. So what is budding? The individual develop in Hydra in the form of birds, that is called asexual reproduction, that is called budding. So another method of asexual reproduction is observed in the microscopic organism, that is amoeba. So let us study about that. So amoeba is a single cell organism. It begins the process of reproduction by division of its nuclei into two nuclei. So here the division of nucleus that is present in amoeba in two daughter nuclei to give rise to their young ones. So each part receiving a nucleus. So here one parent gave birth to their two young one. So that is why it is called the binary fission. So you can see here is nucleus in amoeba. So here it dividing nucleus is here, and the divided nucleus give birth to two young ones. This is called daughter amoeba. So binary fission. This process is called binary fission. So next is the reproduction in which an animal reproducing by dividing into two individuals is called binary fission. Apart from budding and binary fission, there are other methods by which single parent reproduce the young ones. So in this class we are only able to study about the two methods, that is binary fission and the number two is budding. But there are another method, that is segmentation, is also there, which is also used for the segmentation, fermentation, spore formation. These are the methods of asexual reproduction. By you will be able to study about the different asexual reproduction in the higher classes. So here I had completed the syllabus for for class 8th. I will give you the PDFs for the project works and the science journals. So you will able to write that lab activities in your science journals. So they are also the part of your examinations. Thank you.